Effortine. We are back with our Rams-Falcons Showdown breakdown, and we are zeroing in on why each pick makes sense for a one-game slate where correlation and leverage matter. We are starting our captain pool with Puka Nakua at 2,200. The dash rank is a perfect 100 and the projection is 26, which paired with his recent form of 50, 31, and 39 fantasy points gives us the top raw ceiling on the slate. He draws Atlanta, who have a middle of the pack defense overall based on the opponent rank of 17. So we are not shying away on matchup. Ownership around 42% is high but not prohibitive for Showdown, and we gain leverage by pairing him aggressively with Matthew Stafford. The recent news cycle has actually reinforced our confidence in Nakua's role. He just posted a monster 12-2-2-25-2 line against Seattle, per essentially sports coverage, and the follow-up about Fines and Stafford calling for greater accountability hasn't changed his on-field dominance. If anything, it signals the Rams will keep feeding their alpha receiver. We are pairing that with Matthew Stafford at 16,200. The dash rank is 97, projection 19, and he's coming off 34, 25, and 23 fantasy points. Versus Atlanta, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, we get both a stable floor and direct correlation with Puka. Ownership around 48% is appropriate for the highest volume passer on the slate. The why here is simple. Stafford plus Puka captures the most likely touchdown pathway for the Rams, and the Rams' passing efficiency has been steady down the stretch. If we use Stafford at captain, we will still stack two Rams pass catchers to maximize TD equity. We want a bring back, and Bijan Robinson at 17,700 fits perfectly. Projection 21 with recent games of 30, 31, and 10, and ownership around 44%. He faces the Rams, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, so we are not downgrading for matchup. The reason we like Bijan and Stafford Puka builds is game theory. If the Rams' offense pushes the pace, Bijan's touch count and target share historically rise in catch-up scripts, and recent coverage highlights that even when Atlanta falters in other phases, Bijan's production remains strong, as noted by Essentially Sports after Raheem Morris called out special teams' miscues while Robinson posted big numbers. That's the type of correlated bringback we want. We also like Kyren Williams at 14,400 as a leverage captain and strong flex. Projection is 14 with recent 12, 22, and 18. Ownership around 27% gives us some room to differentiate lineups that fade a Puka captain. The key why. Multiple reports note the Rams are running the ball better than any other team over the last 20 years, and that team identity supports Kyren's chance to handle scoring drives if the game skews run-heavy or if the Rams play from ahead. He is our preferred leverage off the Puka chalk because he can monopolize touchdowns even if Puka moves the ball between the 20s. We are prioritizing Blake Corum at 4,600 as one of the best value pieces. Projection 9, recent 13, 13, and 29, and ownership about 26.5%. The why is role and leverage. In builds where we lean into the Rams' dominant ground game narrative reported this week, Corum gives us salary relief and direct access to late drive or goal line work. He fits both Kyren captain constructions and Stafford Puka stacks as a salary saver with real touchdown paths. We are including Kyle Pitts Sr. at 13,200 as a volatile ceiling play. Projection 11 with recent 19, 49, and 15 tells the story. Spike weeks are in range, and he faces the Rams, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall. News has consistently framed Pitts' career as up and down, and that is exactly why we embrace him in tournaments. Tight ends with true downfield usage are rare on Showdown, and Pitts is the Falcons' pass catcher most likely to break the slate without high ownership gravity from Drake London. We view Kirk Cousins at 13,500 as a strategic pivot when we fade Stafford lineups. Projection 15, ownership around 24%, and recent 20, 30, and 5 highlights volatile upside. Against a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, Cousins doubles as leverage on Bijan builds. If Atlanta scores through the air, rather than on the ground, Cousins outperforms salary and flips roster construction away from the Stafford stacks. Recent discourse around Cousins' role and league expectations aside, the data point that matters here is his showings of 30 and 20 in the last two, which are enough to lead a contrarian captain build. We like Darnell Mooney at 6,000 as a salary-adjusted tournament dart. Projection 7, ownership around 16%, and recent 4, 7, and 2 will scare the field. But the why is role and correlation. He fits Cousins captain, builds where we double-stack the Falcons at low ownership, and the matchup is still a middle-of-the-pack defense overall. News this season has been critical of Atlanta's passing output, which keeps Mooney's ownership in check, but Showdown rewards embracing volatility on ancillary WRs. We are fine with Xavier Smith at 3,000 as a true punt. Projection 4, ownership about 15%, and recent 8, 0, and 2 make him a viable salary enabler. The why is lineup construction. He allows us to fit 3 studs while still maintaining bring-back rules in Rams-heavy stacks. If he lands a couple of targets and a red zone look, he can beat the tag. We are comfortable using one kicker in most builds. Harrison Mevis at 7,500 projects for 9, with recent 14, 12, and 9, and around 29% ownership. The why is drive success without red zone conversion. Mevis has the leg and accuracy profile highlighted in recent coverage, and in medium total, middling defense games, kickers carry strong median value. Zane Gonzalez at 7,200 with about 22% ownership offers similar leverage in Cousins builds when we expect stalled drives. We will rotate the Rams defense at 7,800 and the Falcons defense at 4,800 sparingly. The why for Rams D is turnover upside against a road offense that can be forced into pass-heavy scripts if the Rams lead, and the why for Falcons D is salary relief and overlap with Kyron-heavy game scripts where Stafford is pressured and drives stall. We will not play both defenses together. Our favorite constructions tonight are Puka captain with Stafford, bring back with Bijan, and fill with Corum or a kicker for salary efficiency. The why is ceiling plus correlation. Kyron captain with Stafford and a Rams value like Corum, bring back with Pitts to gain leverage off the Bijan chalk. The why is touchdown concentration toward the Rams' run game as suggested by recent reports. Cousins captain double stacked with Pitts or Mooney, bring back with Puka. The why is ownership leverage against the field's Stafford stacks, while still capturing the game's best one-off ceiling in Puka. Before we wrap, a couple of quick context notes from the news cycle that inform our stance. Essentially, Sports reported Nakua's 12-25-2 eruption and subsequent fines, plus Stafford's push for accountability. None of that changes their on-field connection, which is why we remain overweight, and with reports framing the Rams' run game as historically strong, we make sure to include both Kyron and Corum in meaningful portions of our pool. We are locking our main captain pool as Puka, Kyron, Bijan, and Cousins, with Pitts as a tertiary captain in large field entries. We are building most lineups with 3-3 or 4-2 roster rules to keep correlation tight. Good luck tonight, and let us know which captain you are most overweight on.